Today we're doing everybody's favorite, bacon. I've got a half of a pork belly here, and it just so happens it fits in one of these large zip bags just. So it works out really nice. And so we're not going to brine this, we're just going to make a dry rub. We're going to dry rub it, let it sit in the fridge for 7 days, and then to the smoker. So let's get to the dry rub. We're going to need 6 grams of cure. Make sure you're accurate with this. Alright. We're going to go with 4 tablespoons of, I'm going to grab another one here, brown sugar. Now another option, what I found is a lot of people like that maple flavor. The best thing to do is just eliminate a teaspoon of this or a tablespoon of this, and I use pancake syrup. For some reason, if you use real maple syrup, that flavor doesn't really come through. Pancake syrup works really good. So if you like the maple flavor, run with that. Okay, about 4 tablespoons of that. I'm going to run with, I got to make sure I get it right, 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. 2 teaspoons of freshly cracked black pepper. I just ground this myself last night. Love pepper on bacon. I'm going to use about a half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon of this is smoked paprika. If you like a little spice, where goes my phone? You can use a little bit of smoked or the chipotle powder, which works really good as well. This one we're not going to add the heat to it. Let's see. I think we got her. So we're going to mix this up really, really well. Okay, we got it mixed up really, really well. Now all we're going to do is just coat our pork belly. And then just rub it in. Get it everywhere. Gonna go wash the hands and get her into the bag. Now before we coated this, I did rinse the pork belly. So now here's the tricky part. Getting it into the bag. Now it's going. Okay, I'll just wipe down the seal it off, get as much air out of here as you can, and then we're going to put it in the fridge. I flip it every day for 7 days, and then we'll see it in the smoker. Alright, been a week, so we're going to rinse these. I'm going to put it on this rack here, and I'm going to let it dry in the fridge overnight. Get rid rid of some of the moisture before we smoke it. And as you can see, I did the whole belly. I figured twice as much bacon is better. So, then we're just going to pat these dry. Throw them into the fridge. I usually go fat side up. Alright, into the fridge overnight, and we'll see you at the smoker tomorrow. Had to work a little late today. So the bacon is on, it's dark outside, but I put in 2 scoops of chips, and I'm using hickory and mesquite. You can use whatever you want, and you want to bring up the internal temperature to about, I bring it up to about 160. And these ones here I may finish in my oven on convection. See how it goes. It's getting late. Looking rather good. I can read that. 158, won't take long now. Even 158 is fine. Anywhere from 155 to 160 is perfect. I think I'll put her in the fridge and we'll see you in the morning. Here's a recipe that you might want to try. We're making back bacon or Canadian bacon, and basically we're using just a couple chunks of pork loin. Make sure you leave the fat on. That's the good part. So we're going to brine this for about 7 days, and we're going to need 7 grams of cure. So I've got my little scale set up here. Don't mess with cure. You've heard me say it before. In here, we've got 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, 5 teaspoons of kosher salt, and a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. I'm going to just throw that in there. I'm going to mix that up with a liter. Basically, almost the same as a quart. And then we'll mix that up. This is cold water, so it's going to take a little time to dissolve everything, but it will. Alright, she's good. We're just gonna pour this over. Now we're just a little bit shy. We'll add a little bit of water. If you're way shy, then you want to make up a little bit more brine. So to that, we're going to add garlic clove. Cut her up. A couple bay leaves. And we're good to go. Now this is going to sit in the refrigerator for 7 days. Now, my brine is kind of I use this as a universal brine. Let's say that I had a piece of pork butt or something like that, I want to make a ham. All I add is 6 cloves, some pickling, tablespoon of pickling salt, or pickling spice, and a star anise. Same thing, they can make ham. Okay, just gonna add a little bit more water to this and we're gonna throw it in the fridge. Good morning. Been a week. And things are nicely brined, so we're gonna drain this off and then we're gonna pat them nice and dry. So I'm just gonna go over to the sink. Dry these off really well. You could give them a rinse, but it's not going to make that much difference. We'll let these air dry for about half an hour and then we're going to go to the smoker. A wonderful January morning. The problem is, it's still October. Very cold. So I'm just going to use a scoop of mesquite and hickory. A little bit more. Bacon. Now we're going to smoke this at about 185, 200. We're going to let it go until it gets a internal temperature 160, and then we're going to stop. Any more than that, you can kind of start drying things out. That's going to take a while, 4 to 5 hours. You can see how cold it is. Finished these in the oven. As you know, it was a little cold outside today. So we're at about 5.5, 6 hours. And that actually is a pretty big chunk of meat. So all I did was put it on convection, if you have that. And about 150, 160. Don't go any farther than that, you don't want to cook it. Just be patient and it'll happen. So now what I'm going to do is just let them cool. And because we brought it up to 160, we're good. We can just cut them up and use it as sandwich meat. You don't have to bother cooking it. But if you want to put that little extra fry for that bacon and eggs in the morning, perfect. Enjoy!